Okay guys, this is going to be my last video for updates as far as the Black Horse Viper build is concerned because it is done! Finished! I know it took me a while to do it, but well, life gets in the way. And before I get started and forget to do this, I installed a Unilite controller on this plane. Hang on, let me just turn it on real quick. And as you can see, this thing is bright as hell. I haven't finished programming it yet so that it has the proper blinking sequence and everything. But at any rate, whenever you install a Unilite system, for whatever reason, this is the configuration that you get right off the bat. And you might be working on your plane because you just plugged it in, whatever, you're moving things around. Do not leave it on because it will literally burn your lens. So a clear lens will end up looking like that. So you can see at the bottom of it, it's clear. At the top of it, not so clear. That's because it literally burnt that. In fact, the CA melted. Because this one does not come with a heatsink. So if you're going to get a spotlight that's high output like this, get the one that's got a heatsink on it. And for the love of God, don't make my mistake. Do not leave it on, because I left it on for maybe 5 minutes when I was fiddling in here, and I just smelled something. I was like, oh, guess I screwed up there. Anyways, okay, so I just wanted to point that out really quickly. And we will go through the setup that I have in here. Wanted to also point out Black Horse really does a great job on their cockpits. It's really nicely detailed. Was hoping to get a second pilot, but couldn't find one. But that's okay anyways, because she was a little nose heavy when I did the CG. So pilot would not have been a good thing. All right, let me just put this down because I can't open the canopy with one hand. And I'll show you guys what setup inside looks like. Okay, so believe it or not, this is as clean as I could get this goddamn thing. So I had to build my own plate to put all my equipment down, because I don't know if you can see the webbing that's underneath the UAT here. See all the spacing that there is there? So it just made it really hard to nail stuff down. So I put down my own plate and designed my own kind of little setup. So we'll start from back to front. So at the front here, we've got our pitot tube, pitot sensors installed. For batteries, we're running HRB 5000 60Cs. I know these are particularly large receiver batteries. Usually I'll go with something like this, right? Like a Pulse, 2550. That's what I had in my Viper jet. But I needed a little bit more nose weight in the front here. Plus, what I decided to do was to power my receiver, obviously with these two batteries, so I had some redundancy here. I also wanted to power my brake controller from this battery, and I wanted to power my LED lights as well as the receiver from this battery. So they're both hooked up directly underneath the plate, so they're not drawing power from the receiver itself, right? From a receiver perspective, I decided to go with, I don't know if you can see this, but the FrSky TD 18. So it's a stabilized receiver, 18 channels, and believe me, every single one of them is being used in this thing. Hence all the bloody wires here. I also decided to go with the Asant side slip gyro. Originally I was going to do a brake combo from Asant, but this brake controller came with the kit, so I said, you know what, let's try it out and see, and if we don't like it, then we'll get the AG68 from Asant. As far as battery goes for the turbine, I'm running a Shriwin 120. Usually this plane calls for an 80, but I spoke to a bunch of guys that have this plane, have flown it on an 80, flown it on a 104, or sorry, 102 King Tech, an 80 Shriwin, and an 85 King Tech. And I just decided to go with a little bit bigger motor for future proofing. If I get another turbine, I could always put it in there. Yeah, next, UAT. Okay, so the UAT, I wasn't too crazy about these sort of nipple setups that they had here. On my first startup of the turbine, I did notice that I had a little bit of a leak, but it's because this wasn't tightened, this nut wasn't tightened down enough. So fix that, obviously, and also put some JB Weld, 2 coats, let it cure 24 hours, and then put another coat of JB Weld. Another mistake that I made was I did a single tie wrap instead of a double tie wrap, literally on all my fittings, and usually you're supposed to do a double tie wrap. I found that out after I had done all of this work, but I've tested it. I haven't seen any leaks or any air bubbles or anything like that, so I'm pretty confident with that. Fuel dots. Okay, so here we've got our fuel dot for the turbine, for the fuel, and I'm going to be running Carol in this. And then on the opposite side here, we've got the smaller fuel dot for the smoke. And the reason why I decided to put them on 2 separate sides is because I know me, and I can see myself having 2 silver fuel dots here, and talking to somebody at the field and accidentally putting oil into my fuel tank and fuel into my oil tank. So, but I'm on 2 separate sides. If I screw that up, I got issues. All right, so that's the oh, and this is a dual frequency, dual redundancy receiver. So it runs on 2.4 and it does run on 900 megahertz as well. So 2 radio frequencies built into one receiver, which is really cool. Okay, let's just open this up. Hang on a second, guys. Come on. All right. So that's the 120 there, and we've got our smoke pipe running to the center of the turbine. The other thing I noticed during the installation, I did all my measurements and everything, but I actually found that my turbine's sitting just a little bit high in the pipe. So I'm going to have to put some shims right here and right here just to raise that pipe up just a smidge, just to make sure that we've got great alignment there. And last but not least, one thing that I have to say I'm not crazy about with that Black Horse did on this kit. Previously what they did, so on this kit over here for the Viper, you actually put screws right through a hole and right through a spar in the elevators, the rudder, the elevators, as well as the wings. What they decided to do this time is they just basically have like a shaft like this, basically, coming out of your surfaces, and then that shaft gets clamped down through the pressure of you tightening this screw down, which I think is silly. I don't know why they decided to do that. I mean, you already have a shaft there. Call me crazy. Why not just put a goddamn hole through it and then just screw it down? Or just put a tab and then you actually put a screw right through the damn tab. Anyways, just like they did in their Viper, their old jet. This is your new jet. Come on, guys. Anyways, I thought it was stupid the way that they set it up. So just be mindful of that when you do. If anyone is thinking about getting this jet, Last thing that I'm gonna have to just adjust here is the opening that they have at the back of the jet was not letting the pipe go through, so I had to make it a little bit bigger, and as you can see I made it a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna have to shim that a little bit. I got some solution for that I'm gonna take care of a little bit later on. So that is it, guys. It is now late October here in Canada. I'm in Ontario, and weather is getting pretty bad. Hopefully I can find a nice window to do a maiden in the coming week or 2 weeks, and I'll definitely video that and load it up for you guys, no matter what happens. Anyways, Houston out.